Hello, it's me, Dre, your life consultation, trademark. And again, welcome back. Um, I said I was gonna do the one about the Olympics for Black History Month, and I am. Again, got your boy ChatGTP here, and let's see. We'll do the first one. So, Jesse Owens at the 1936 Olympics in Berlin, which was hosted by the Nazi Party. Again, Jesse Owens was an African American track and field star, so he was black. He won 4 gold medals that year. One for the 100 meter, 200 meter, the long jump, and a four-man 100-meter relay. Now, Hitler, he intended for the games to promote Nazi idealism for, Aryan superiority. He was kind of into that. But Owens' victory, it directly undermined the Nazi racial ideology on the world stage because it's the Olympics, so everybody saw that. Um, Now, there's a common myth that Hitler personally stubbed Owens, but turns out that's not true. Hitler just stopped congratulating any athletes publicly after the first day. He just didn't care. Um, but Owens, this is where shit is sad. Owens received far more respect in Germany than he did at home, where segregation was still law. So, why is that? We had fought the Nazis in World War One, and I guess this was 1936, so we're about to start fighting them again here in a few more years. And he goes to a world stage, destroys them, 4 gold medals, come back home, and still treated fucking terribly. It's crazy. And in the place where the Nazis were calling home in Germany, he was held with more respect, where they were unaliving people by the thousands. And in the picture, he's saluting, American salute, while he's up there. American salute while the Nazis giving a Nazi salute. And to still come back home and deal with that. And that's what needs to be talked about. Those two things. Did that, still saluted the American people. Because he was proud of what he did for America. Because again, he's black. To come back home and be treated like shit. Now let's fast forward to almost 30 years later. 1968. The 1968 Mexico City Olympics. These two athletes, Tommy Smith, who won gold, and John Carlos, who won bronze. They were both American sprinters, black Americans. During the ceremony, the medal ceremony for the 200-meter race that they were in, they raised their fist, the old black power fist, while the U.S. anthem played. Now, it was protesting racism, segregation, injustice, especially in the United States, because that shit was going on everywhere, but especially in the United States because again they were Americans. This was during the time where they were still spraying motherfuckers with water hoses and shit, sicking dogs on them in the middle of the street on the news because they didn't care. They also went shoeless. They didn't wear no shoes to symbolize property, which is I think is an awesome thing that they did that. And they wore Olympic Project for human rights badges, which is another thing that's not talked about enough, where people are doing stuff like this Yeah, you know that they went up there, did the Black Power fist. Everybody knows that. But these extra, just little things like that. Not wearing the shoes, wearing Olympic Project for Human Rights badges. It's just stuff like that that is not talked about enough. Is what we need to be educating ourselves on more. And again, excuse my wrinkly shirt. I didn't feel like ironing. I just threw it on. I just brought it up because it's bothered me. And I'm going to have to watch the video again while I'm doing stuff. So now, this is the next part that also sucked. They were expelled from the Olympics because of this and faced years of backlash. But today, the salute is widely seen as one of the most powerful acts of protest in sports history. Think about that. All they did, they wore this badge that said that, took the shoes off, and did this. And were kicked, expelled from, like, kicked out of the fucking Olympics. For what? Because we know once the Olympics is over and they go back home, because again, there was still racism, segregation, and injustice going on in America in the 1960s. So they went back home to still be treated like shit. So why would they not be out there and do that on a world stage where everybody can see, hey, even though we're Olympians, we're still standing with the people. This is bullshit. But again, it's just not something that's taught about. Yeah, you know the Black Power fist thing. You know about the guy who beat some Nazis in front of Hitler. Yeah, but you don't know about him saluting them, at them, going, hey, fuck you, America. Again, in the 1930s, 1936, he was doing that. Proud to be an American. To go home and still be treated like shit. Crazy. To be treated with more respect in the place where the Nazis are just hanging out doing the most decrepit shit. And to be treated with more respect there than when you come home. When you won the medal for home is crazy. On both cases. That happens 30 years later. Get treated like shit again. But again, like I said, this is more than just black history. This is American history. The good and the bad of it. Yeah, it's great that they went out there and did that. They ran for America. Saluted for black people. People in poverty. All these injustices and racism that was going on. To go back home and nothing to change. For them not to be considered anything. Both sets of people. And again, 1936, that was Jesse Owens. And then in 1968, that was Tommie Smith and John Carlos. These were black Americans doing things that should be taught in regular history. It's not just black history. That's for everybody. The injustice, the racism, the segregation they was fighting for, that included everyone. It wasn't just black people. It was for Mexican people, Asian people, all Latin people who were coming here, all black people who were coming here from wherever you came from. It didn't matter. Italians, whatever. That's what they were fighting for. Not fighting, well, you know what I mean. You know, saluting for, and, well, Jesse Owens a little bit less because it hadn't gotten to, you know, the type of civil rights movement hadn't started yet and wasn't in motion back there in 1936. So, his a little bit different. He was just a proud American, and he was saying fuck you to the Nazis. Simply what he was doing, to come home and be treated terribly. The other ones, again, that was all part of a movement for civil rights. That civil rights helps out everyone. Everyone, because it should be civil rights for everyone. Not just black people, not just white people, not just Asians. Everybody should have civil rights. That's just all that is to it. And things have gotten a lot better. People want to say things are worse now than they ever been. They are definitely not. Yes, people are getting killed unjustly and stuff like that's going on. Absolutely. I'm not going to deny that whatsoever. It's sad, it sucks, it's trash. But things are not nowhere near as bad as they used to be. Definitely not. For anyone. But again, it's going on for about 10 minutes here. I just wanted to say thank y'all for watching. Again, like, subscribe. I'm going to do some more of these. Like I said, I'm going to start mixing some other videos in here. There's other stuff, I want to talk about. There's a lot of things I like. Packer fans, you can see that they didn't do great. That I was wearing in the last one. You see, I got more hats up there. Probably see the Ninja Turtle ones. So there's a few things I'm interested in. So I'm going to talk about a lot of stuff. I like funny stuff, But this is Black History Month, which is stupid. But Black history is American history. I've been saying that this whole time. I'm going to keep saying it. We're going to keep pushing out these videos. I said I'm trying to do one every single day. So I'm holding myself to this. And then try to keep this up even after this. But alright, again, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment. Let me know something. But again, thank you for watching. My name is Dre. I'm a life consultationer. Trademark. Peace.